For about 3 years when I first started, I was absolutely obsessed with finding a trading strategy with a super high win rate. I thought that if I could just win 60, 70, 80, maybe even 90% of my trades, then it would solve the problem that I was currently having with my trading. And now, looking back in hindsight, that obsession probably cost me more time, energy, effort, and money than anything else that I tried while I was trying to learn trading. It's because I realized I was chasing the wrong thing. So I remember buying Telegram signals off a trader that I'd found on TikTok, and I spent a bunch of time trying to trade these. These were actually someone in the US. I'm obviously here in Australia, so these were at a really inconvenient time. So I flipped my entire life on its head, and I started waking up at 3 a.m. so that I could follow these signals, because that's when they were mostly trading. It was ad hoc, different time every day, and it absolutely fucking ruined me. It destroyed my mental health. I could not cope with getting up at 3 a.m. every day, flipping my life on its head. I'm a morning person. I like to get up early. I like to go to bed early. It just didn't work for me. But I thought that if I was following these signals, maybe I could get a super high win rate, because this trader was making a bunch of money. It didn't work out, okay? I wasn't able to get into the trades as quickly as they were, or out as quickly as they were. I had no idea what the premise was they were trading on. It just turned to shit completely. So I started on YouTube. I went down a massive rabbit hole. And this took me probably almost a year on YouTube. I went through every single trading strategy I could find. Like, we're talking everything from like moving average crossovers, volume profiles, SMC, ICT concepts, like all of these big YouTubers that you've probably seen as well, promoting their own strategy as the holy grail, and I went through every one of them. I actually found this one YouTube channel that was around at the time that I was going through this research phase called Trade Pro. I'm not sure if they're even still around. I haven't checked for a while, but they had a spreadsheet of a bunch of different strategies, and they sort of ranked them best to worst. They went through different win rates, and I really went down a rabbit hole here. Like, I tested every single strategy. I back tested it myself. I spent fucking hours and hours, so much mental energy. I burnt out multiple times. I'd take a break, and then I'd come back. And it was all because I wasn't looking for a strategy, okay? And it took me a long time to realize this, but I wasn't looking for a strategy. I was looking for certainty. Like, I wanted something that was a certain outcome, something that was like 70% plus as a win rate. And after doing a bit of a deep dive, I realized that I wanted something that felt safe, okay? I needed like some control, some certainty, and to know the outcome before it occurred. And that's where a lot of beginner traders get trapped. They don't just want a system. They're looking for a trading system that removes the discomfort, the uncertainty. Now, like me, most beginners, and you might be sitting here thinking the same thing, think that a high win rate is a good trading strategy, okay? The higher the win rate, the better it's gonna be. If it's a low win rate trading strategy, then it's a bad strategy. So people have different numbers. Often, if you're just beginning, you may think 50% and up as a win rate is a good trading strategy, and anything under is gonna be crap, you're gonna lose money. But that's not true. Now, I've found trading strategies that have a 25 to 35% win rate that absolutely make bank, okay? And I found trading strategies that have a 90% win rate that lose money. Actually, I've come across one recently, a risk premium trading strategy that if you don't have an 85% plus win rate, you actually lose money. And that's what most beginners don't understand. You can win 80% of your trades, and you can still lose money if the 20% of trades that you're losing lose more than the winners won, okay, right? And this all comes back to a risk to reward ratio. This is what we speak about inside the 3XP Academy. There's a link in the description if you want to check out more, where I help people install a 60-minute daily trading system into their lives. But you can lose more trades than you win and still make money if your winners are bigger than your losers, right? And as I said, this all comes back to the risk to reward ratio. So that took me a long time to understand, to get my head around this concept, that I didn't need a better than a 50% win rate. It didn't actually matter what the win rate was. It mattered the interaction between the win rate and the risk to reward ratio, right? How much I was going to win and how much I was going to lose on any given trade. It took me a long time to really grasp this concept and understand it, because my ego wanted to be right. Okay, in the end, I wanted to be right more than I was wrong. And this was just in here, it wasn't about making money. It's that I wanted to feel good about myself. I wanted to feel like I knew what was going to happen next, and there was some kind of certainty, some sort of highly likely outcome. Like, not guaranteed, I understood that, but highly likely. I wanted to know what was going to happen next. So I started trading a bunch of these trading strategies. As I said, I had a spreadsheet. I went through them one by one. I was back testing them. I was forward testing them. I was live trading them. And it turned into an absolute mess. Like, the worst part was that I'd have these little stretches of wins and I thought I'd figured it out. So I'd tell my friends, I'd tell my wife, start making plans for all the money that I was going to make, right? Like, oh, we're going to buy a new house. We're going to go on a holiday. I'm going to take you here. I'm going to take you there. Have a few wins in a row, confidence grows, it starts to come back, and you start thinking, this is it, like, I've cracked the holy grail. And then you have a bad trade, maybe a number of bad trades, maybe the trading strategy goes through a market period where it's not as profitable as it was, a couple of oversized losses, make a couple of bad emotional decisions. It can be one of these, it can be a combination of these, but the whole thing falls apart after that. And that's when I realized the issue wasn't the trading strategy. It was the way that I was measuring the strategy. So this is where I started to dive into a concept called expectancy. And I originally was introduced to this through R-based position sizing. Dr. Van K. Tharp, really good trading educator. A couple of good books I've got, Trading in the Matrix is a really good one. Super Trade is also good. But he introduced me to this concept of R-based position sizing and expectancy. So the shift happened where I stopped asking how often does this win, and I started asking, like, what happens with a large enough sample size if I execute this trading strategy properly? How much can I expect to lose per trade on average, or win per trade on average? And that is essentially, in a nutshell, what expectancy is. So expectancy in a nutshell is how much you make when you win and how much you lose when you lose, and how often each of those happens, and then you work out whether the maths is positive over time. So a profitable trader does not need to be right all the time. A profitable trader needs a repeatable edge with control downside and discipline to keep executing, but that trading strategy needs to have a positive expectancy. So when I first realized this, I started trading it right, and it was uncomfortable for me in the beginning because it meant that I had to stop trying to avoid the losses, right? I had to have faith in a system that had a positive expectancy and just trust that the outcome would occur more often than not, and that I was going to have a positive expectancy over a large sample size. So I stopped trying to avoid the losses and started trying to accept that losses are part of the game, okay? The goal is not to build a system where you never lose. You don't even need to build a system with a 50% win rate. I often trade with anywhere between a 40 and 50% win rate, and that is an incredibly profitable expectancy, sometimes 0.6, which if you do your research is almost a world-class system, right, when it's performing well. So the goal is to build a system where the losses don't break you, right, where you can calculate based on a large sample size that you're going to have an expectancy that is positive, that regardless of the win streaks you go through, the losing streaks you go through, you will have a positive expectancy at the end of this sample size, okay? And that's a very different way to trade, okay? Beginners often frame it as, I need to know what happens next, or I need to have a great win rate. Better way to frame it is something like, I need to know exactly what I'm doing is right, okay, according to the system, and know that over a long period of time, it will be positive, okay? I will be making money. And that's where trading becomes less about prediction and more about the process, okay? And this is where we talk about mechanical trading inside the 3XP Academy. You need a clear set of rules because your emotions aren't going to let you stay disciplined when shit gets tough. We all do it. I'm not immune to this as well. Even still sometimes, my rules keep me in check and keep me from a big blow up. And that, as I've mentioned, is exactly why I built the 3XP Academy the way that I did build it, okay? It's not built around trying to be clever. It's not a super high win rate trading strategy, and it's not built around predicting every candle's move or any candle's move. I have no idea what direction the market is going to move in. It's built around a pattern with a fixed set of rules, predefined risk, and a simple daily trading routine that you can repeat. But most importantly, a pattern that has positive expectancy. A pattern that I calculated and tested over a large sample size. If you trade this according to the rules, you will make money, okay? You'll have good periods, you'll have bad periods, but over a long sample size, a long period of time, you will absolutely make money. Now, if you're like I was in the beginning and you're still trying to trade that high win rate trading strategy, okay, you're looking for something with a perfect win rate, I'd seriously encourage you to step back for a second and take a look at the process instead, okay? The trading strategies that have high win rates are often trading strategies that rarely trade because there are so many conditions that need to be met that you almost never get an entry. So you could have a trading strategy with 100% win rate, but if you get one entry a year, what good is that? Okay, you can't compound profits over time if you're only taking one trade a year. Now, there's a good chance if you're watching this, you've already checked out my daily trading blueprint. If you haven't already, the link's down there in the description. And this is where we sort of outline the way that we put together these trading systems, okay, based on a positive expectancy entry and based around a clear set of rules and a daily routine that you can execute in 60 minutes. So if you haven't checked that out already, links in the description. And also, if you're interested in learning more about the full 3XP Academy, where we help our clients install this entire system with one-to-one coaching, with constant support, with all the tools, resources, one-click imports, you've got everything at your disposal. Then you can review the full 3XP Academy breakdown. There's a link in the description to that also. But here's the whole point of the video and what I want you to take away. I spent years trying to be right, when all that I needed was to know that I could still make money even when I was wrong. Let that one marinate for a bit, and I'll see you in the next one.